Allow me to call on Mr. Amadi, Cisse, of IMC Worldwide Limited, to present to us the Bulacan Bulk Water Supply Project. Amadi?
Thank you very much, and good morning. My name is Amadi Cisse, IMC Worldwide, Transaction Advisor, here to present the Bulacan Bulk Water Supply Project. MWSS is the implementing agency for the project, and IMC was contracted through the PPP Center to provide transaction advisory services on the project from pre-feasibility phase until financial close. Before I start, though, I would like to thank MWSS for the commitment they have shown in bringing these two PPP projects to the market, and also the PPP Center for the support they give the PPP projects and developing an excellent pipeline of projects. It is no surprise that they are nominated for international awards year after year, and they deserve a round of applause. Just like to give you a little bit of background about IMC Worldwide. We're a leading UK consultancy with a long track record advising government agencies and donors on some of the most challenging issues related to infrastructure and economic development. We have extensive experience in PPPs, and we've advised governments across sectors in the Philippines, Vietnam, Sierra Leone, Uganda, and various other countries. We've subcontracted Rationale as our legal advisors for the project. Just going to walk you through the outline of this presentation. The presentation will begin with project overview and rationale, followed by technical scope and phasing, then scope of investments, PPP structure, and then concluding with bidding process and timelines for the project. Now, Bulacan is an important province in Filipino history and is honored as one of the 8 rays of the sun in the Filipino flag. It's located approximately 50 kilometers north of Manila and is the second most populous province after Cavite. Topography is generally flat up to the Angat Dam, but from the Angat River it becomes a bit more mountainous. There's rapid economic growth taking place in the region, and its regional GDP growth is higher than the national average. Population growth is approximately 3.5%, which is also higher than the national average is 2.8%. A number of companies are relocating to the province as they're also attracted by the rapid growth taking place in the area. I believe these specific characteristics, these underlying characteristics, really make this a dynamic and attractive opportunity. The project, as D.A. Bobby mentioned, has a very long history and has been built up over time. Without the project, the province will become fragmented in terms of water service provision, and over the long term, this could hurt the balance sheets of the water districts by driving up the price from not achieving economies of scale in terms of provision. When implemented, the project will provide treated bulk water to Bulacan's water districts, assisting their efforts to meet current water demand in their franchise areas, but also allowing them to increase and expand services to households going forward. The projected water demand that you're seeing here was calculated by taking into account domestic demand, commercial demand, NRW, and also several other key factors. A lot of work was put into the background in terms of the numbers you're seeing and the ones I'm about to give you. Demand was also calculated on a per capita consumption of 126 liters per day, per capita. The total current supply is approximately 299 million liters per day, and it covers approximately 60% of the population on average. And if you look in more detail at the specific water districts, the coverage is actually much lower. In 2013, we had estimated that the total water demand was approximately 386 MLD, and by 2016, the water supply deficit will increase from 87 MLD to 168. The water supply shortage is exacerbated by depletion of water aquifers due to saline intrusion. The figures clearly highlight the need and urgency for the project, but they also highlight a giant gap in the market and a good investment opportunity. The delivery of the infrastructure facilities for the project will be output-based. The output criteria will be contained in the output specifications, which will be released with the ITB at a future stage. The output-based nature of the project has the purpose of encouraging innovation in delivery. The project has been divided into 3 stages, and the stages have been prioritized in terms of need and also the geographic location. However, we don't want to be overly prescriptive in order to allow for certain levels of technical innovation to add value to the delivery of this project. The investments required in terms of the technical scope include, and are not limited to, raw water conveyance, approximately 33 kilometers, water treatment plants, treated water reservoirs, and pumping stations. Now, looking at the scheme design elements, if you look at the bottom right-hand corner of the map, the line in blue is the conveyance for phase 1, and as you continue northwest on the map, it goes to yellow, which represents stage 2, and the green line represents stage 3. Now, the phase 1 area has the widest supply deficit, and as you move further north on the map, that deficit tends to narrow, which makes sense due to the location of some of the sources further north. The 6 water districts in stage 1 will be implemented first, just on the basis of need. But again, this is just the TA teams and the government's design. And they will be followed by the 6 water districts in stage 2. Stage 3A water districts will be implemented on a demand-triggered basis. And stages 3B and 3C are the source expansions for the preceding stages. The potential raw water sources that we've identified for stages 1 and 2 is approximately 475 MLD from the Angat Dam. And for the stages 3A, B, and C, we've identified the Pampanga River and the Angat River, as well as other sources. As I mentioned before, we don't want to be overly prescriptive in the sources that we're recommending. In some of the technical studies that we've done extensive studies on the water resources in the area, and those studies will be made available at a later stage. The indicative operation for stage 1 is 2016, for stage 2, 2017, and stages 3A and 3C will be demand triggered, and for stage 3B, 2026. Now, the estimated project cost is approximately 24 billion pesos, and this was done on a whole life cycle costing, and it will cover the infrastructure facilities such as transmission, treatment plant, SCADA systems, the land acquisition for water treatment plants, etc. And various studies were undertaken to determine the project costs, including in terms of the social and environmental mitigation factors, which are of utmost importance. The project will be delivered through a PPP scheme. Our studies showed that a PPP scheme was the best procurement modality to achieve the highest value for money for the project. It will involve a 30-year BOT contract between MWSS and the proponent, and MOAs between MWSS, proponents, and the water districts. This is a complex project that will require innovative approaches and especially an eye for sustainability. Now, the government and the TA team narrowed down the structure from a very wide range of options, which is what you're seeing on the projector right now. And we arrived at a structure that we feel is legal, but also bankable. As you'll see by some of the elements attached to the project proponent, the structure is based on a model using non-recourse financing, and all of the relationships between parties will be defined in their specific contract. So the project proponent will be connected to MWSS via a BOT contract, and the proponent, MWSS, will be connected to the water districts via memorandum of agreement. An inflation-adjusted bulk water charge will be the main source of revenue for the project. The bulk water charge is one of the most crucial aspects of the project. It is the main source of revenue that will allow the proponent to recoup their investment, but it also provides the value for water districts by providing quality water at an affordable rate. A number of financial analyses and economic studies were done to arrive at a figure that we felt was fair to all parties. However, this will be released at a later date. Just going to go through the payment structure. We expect that the proponents will deliver services to the water districts and then collect bulk water charges from the water districts and also pay a concession fee. Now, the water districts, we hope, will endeavor to be protected via a guarantee. We've explored several options for a guarantee that we will inform at a later date. Moving on to the bid process and timelines. The project will be bidded under RA 7718, also known as the BOT law here in the Philippines. There'll be a two-stage bidding process and require 60-40 national ownership using the grandfather rule test. And the bidding parameter will be the lowest bulk water charge. And I just wanted to stress that, as I mentioned earlier in the presentation, that innovative approaches to developing water sources and the sustainability of the scheme are key factors. I mean, while the bid parameter is the lowest bulk water charge, these key elements really need to be kept in mind. Moving on to indicative timelines. So the ITB will be published week apart over the course of 3 weeks, beginning the 20th of June as an indicative date, and the PQ conference on the 15th of July, followed by PQ submission date at the 5th of August. Issuance of the notice of pre-qualification will be no later than 25 days after the qualification documents are submitted. Thank you very much for your time. Just like to open the floor now for questions and also call some of the technical team and the legal team to help to answer some of your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Amadi. So, do we have